Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Matter of Opinion. I'm Walls P, and today we got Miss Tia.
Hey everybody.
So today's episode, we're gonna touch on a topic that a lot of women, have an issue with. And that's speaking about the Godfather, Kevin Samuels.
Godfather?
Yes, the Godfather.
Okay.
You don't even think to call me Godfather.
The first question I have is, what is your main issue with the Godfather?
Godfather? Good.
Wow, that's how.
Yep.
That's how it started.
Yep, that's his name, the Godfather.
No, but what's my issue? Okay.
Why do you got a beef with him?
All right, I don't have a beef with him. Let me just put this out there. I never said I didn't agree with what he's saying. Mm-hmm. Okay, I didn't say I disagree with him 100%. But some of the things that I have an issue with, number one, sometimes I wonder, what are his credentials? You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, I'm not a licensed therapist, but I have 2 psychology degrees. I think I'm in a little bit more of a position, than him to give someone some advice or to coach someone.
But why does a degree gotta give authority on who can give advice on things?
I just feel
I could get great advice from a wino on the corner who's like, yo, don't do that. That's 25 to life. That's him dropping knowledge.
I understand,
you know what I'm saying?
But
and he doesn't have a law degree.
For it.
He's not charging nobody for it. How is he charging them?
Yeah, he said that when people call in, because he had one lady that I think it was her second time, and he's like, oh no, thanks for calling in, but you'll have to do a private session. You'll have to do which means that I'm assuming he's charging them to do private sessions if they want to meet with him, if they want to continue to have a dating coach.
Yeah, that's if they want to stray off and speak about specific topics, because the way he laid down is today's show is such and such, and he's like, what do you got for me? And if they want to veer off topic, he's like, yo, you got to book a private session or whatever. Now, even if he doesn't have a license or whatever, if I'm not licensed to fix computers, but people know I'm decent with fixing computers, and they're like, hey, Wally, can you fix my computer? And I'm like, yeah, I'll fix it, but I'll charge you.
No, I understand, but then here's the other thing too. People have to understand, if someone's not licensed or certified or have a degree in something, you pretty much are going to them at your own risk. So hypothetically speaking, if I did go to you to fix my computer, I should already know that you're not liable for anything that may happen to it. If you, mess up the wrong thing, or, you accidentally knock the computer over as you're fixing it. But it's just the thing you have to understand is that when you go to college, they teach you theory and practice. So when you get the knowledge, when they teach you whatever it is, that's your theory. And then the practice is when you go out in the field. You do those internships. You do the actual, however many counseling hours you need to do, because it's preparing you for that. Now, with him, on the other hand, if I'm not mistaken, I think he did go to college, but I don't know if he finished. And he majored in computer science, which has nothing to do with counseling, marriage and family therapy, none of those things. And the reason why I say that is because in my studies, it teaches you different things of, how to approach people, the questions to ask, the, different things now, granted, I haven't done a consultation with him, so I can't necessarily point out every single thing he did, wrong or right. But I just feel as though, even his body language, you know what I mean? As a therapist, it's that's one of the things that they teach you. As soon as people call in, I feel like he's sitting there at the end of the day, Kevin Samuels is entertainment, right? Now, going back to my beef with him, not only is it, his demeanor, the way that he comes off, but I also feel as though it comes off one-sided. Now, I'm not saying women are not 100% at fault, okay? I'm not saying that. But a lot of times I feel like when he gets on these young ladies, and maybe because I take it personally, it's he talks about them going and getting these degrees and, they're doing all these different things, thinking that they have all this time in the world. And then by the time they turn 35, now they want the family. Now they want, certain things. And it's well, ma'am, you should have did this before then. You don't know what it's like to be a wife and this and that. But the thing he fails to realize is, wasn't it his generation that, in a sense, warped? You know what I'm saying? Ladies like us. If you think about it, what was that? The baby boomers? I think that's what his generation was. When you look at it, the main ones that he's talking about, when he's yeah, these people encourage you to go to school, this and that. Yeah, my mom did encourage me to do that. Yeah, my mom was a single parent. She was head of household. But that's what they encouraged us to do. So that's what we did it, thinking that, okay, this is what it's going to be so I could be self-sufficient. Because when you're not, people fail to realize, when you're not surrounded by a father, you're not surrounded by father figures, you mimic or you emulate your parent that's there, and that's your mom. So if you see her being a go-getter, she has 5 jobs, she's supporting the family, what do you think you're going to do? You're going to think, okay, well, this is what, I don't want to be like, I love my mom, but I don't want to be like my mom. So I want to make sure I go to school, I can make the money. So guess what? A man could come and go, but my degree will never leave me. So I just don't, and then with the dog barking.
But here's the thing. The thing is, if that's the route that you're going to go, fine. Go that route. But then when you come out, don't expect that you having your degree and all of that stuff is what's appealing to a man. And that's basically what he's trying to point out. Women think just because I went and focused on my career, got my degree and everything like that, and now I'm ready on the market, whatever, women think that's enticing to a man. The average man don't care about that. So if that's a choice that you want to go that route, fine, that's cool, but understand what comes with it, and that's basically what he's basically preaching. You get what I'm saying?
But see, he talks about the high value man, which also makes me wonder: is he a high value man? Like, how does he know specifically what these men want? Like women. I can't say so much myself anymore, but you have women in the trenches who are actually going through the dating scene, and we see something different. Like, it's very rare.
Something different, like how?
Like, for example, he mentions the high value man, right? And first of all, let me just point out, a man can be a good man, and he doesn't have to be a high value man. Let me just say that. But in the experiences that I had, that actually was a plus. Like, oh, you have a degree. Oh, you have a career. Oh, you're doing great things for yourself. And I don't know if it's primarily because they think you're going to take care of them, or if it's because they want something different. Because let's just be real. A lot of times when people think about the black woman, they think about the stereotypes. Do you know how many times, like, when I tell people, oh, yeah, I'm about to get my doctorate, or, oh, yeah, I work at a university. It's like, oh, wow, you do? Oh, like, it's a shock because they're assuming black women are supposed to look, talk, and act a certain type of way. And to me, I feel like with Kevin Samuels, if he talked more about those women who, had the multiple kids, the multiple baby fathers, nothing going for themselves. They want to live off of the public assistance for years and years at a time, and they're comfortable with that. You want to talk to those women, and you want to encourage them to do better and be better, especially by their children, okay, fine. But I just don't feel like women who chose to go the route of higher education and, get the career and be self-sufficient and, all of those things, I don't feel like they should have to be subjected to, oh, you're going to get a dog and die alone.
Yeah, because you're look at here's the facts of the way things go. A woman, especially a black woman, black woman that reaches her career goal at the age of 30 and up, regardless, their market value still goes down.
Why would you say that?
Because if you have a woman and a guy, right?
Okay.
A black woman and a black woman and a black man who both are 35, well off in their careers or whatever.
Okay.
That man can date above women above his age and women down to like 21, 22 years old, whatever.
Okay.
Women who are older, they set their, what's the word I'm looking for? They set their
standards.
Their standards even higher, because like they're not gonna go beneath. So what does that do? That gives you a limited pool of men to pick from, because you have a standard that, since I'm at this level up here, I'm not gonna go backtrack whatever or date down. I'm gonna date. You gotta be at my level or above.
Yeah, but think about it like this: you go to school for all of those years. You accrue all of that student loan debt. You know, you made all of these sacrifices. You want someone who's going to be ambitious. Now, I didn't necessarily say you had to also have a degree and, you know, have all of these same things as me. It's just what is wrong. And then that's the other thing too that gets me.
But that's not how men think.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing that bothers me. I feel as though, and I hope your viewers don't kill me for this, I feel as though black women are supposed to, you know, and I don't want to say the word settle. I'll say accept. I feel like black women are supposed to accept so much, especially from the black man, that what does that say about them that we can't expect more from them? Like, I've been in many instances where, you know, I'll talk to people and they'll say, oh, yeah, I could see you, you know, marrying a white guy. I could see you being with a Jewish guy. What, to me, I don't feel like that's a reflection of me. I feel like that's a reflection of how people view black men. I don't think it's anything wrong with us wanting more, wanting to do better, and expecting the same mate in our, you know, expecting the same thing in our mate.
No, because when you see if you see a successful or decent money making black guy, most times you see a woman from a different nationality next to them. You don't necessarily why do you think black women be mad like, yo, other nationalities, they're stealing our men? So you like,
yeah, but
women
I feel like that's
find them desirable. No, I'm not talking about celebrities.
No, I do feel like it's
women,
different because of the stereotype of the black woman. And that is why, and you hear it all the time, why a lot of black men feel as though, you know, well, for the ones who do date outside of their race, let me just say that. A lot of times it is because of who was there. Like, for example, Omari Hardrick, you know, the one who was the main person in power. He said for him, because, you know, people attacked him for that because they looked at his character and saw his wife and it was like, wait a minute, there's a disconnect. And he said, well, the black women weren't checking for me when I was in college because he didn't look like that. He didn't have the money, he didn't have the swag, he didn't have all that stuff. So sometimes it is because, you know, they're there. And then you do have some where, yes, they make it to a certain level and feel like, I don't want to deal with, you know, the stereotypical black female. So that's why they go outside of their race. But, and that's a separate issue. But I just feel like, I don't think it's anything wrong, like I said, with getting to a certain level or acquiring certain things and expecting your mate to have the same ambition. Yeah,
but the point that you're missing is you're saying it's a stereotype with black women. The average black woman is masculine.
What?
They're masculine. Most dudes don't want a masculine chick.
I hear you.
You get what I'm saying? Like, why do you think the phrase came out, you don't know how to handle a black woman? Number one, why should I handle you? If you handle snakes, you handle lions, you handle tigers, you handle things that are dangerous to you. So just the fact that you're saying you can't handle a black woman, why do I need to handle you? Why? I need to accept your attitude. I need to accept you have to have the last word in. When you come home from a long days of work, you don't got time to be hearing that. And this is what I will say, because I've dated a white woman, and the experience of I've dated a couple of white women. The experience between dating a white woman as far as their character is completely different than dating the average black woman.
Yeah, but our experiences are different also.
The experiences, yeah, but here's the thing. Like, women will say, since it's more women, black women, than there is black men, right? So with that being said, you would think the women would basically try and make themselves more attractive to a black man, but it's more so, oh, nah, you gotta accept me how I am, whatever. Women are getting advice from other women on how to get men. How does that work? If you want to understand the thinking of a man, you have to speak to men. You say there's all these seminars and stuff for how to women to level up and, do all this stuff, whatever. That's fine and dandy, but your ways of thinking is not the ways of a man thinking. If you're gonna have seminars about how to level up and stuff, have seminars of men telling women what they need to do. All I hear is women go to other women about how to be more attractive or how to basically get a man, whatever.
I hear what you're saying.
And women don't even know what men want.
I hear what you're saying, which brought me to my other thought, because with Kevin Samuels, I mean, and granted, I'm not in a session with him, but he always is quick to point out what we're doing wrong, what we should be doing, and all these other things. But I never hear him say, now, here are the things that you need to do. Now, I'm going to follow up with you and say this. Like, my thing is, don't just tear me down. I need you to also build me up. So I'm not even saying, oh, you have to sugarcoat it. You have to come off like a Derek Jackson. I'm not saying that. But at least come off with the, oh, okay, yes, this is what men want. You know, if he brings a caller on, if they want to have the back and forth banter or whatever, okay, fine. But now give me the resources, or, find, like, there have been women who have even said it. Like, okay, Kevin, so what am I supposed to do? I'm eager to learn. Oh, what can a man do with that? Oh, what can he do if you, like,
Actually, if you listen, he does tell them. He'll tell them cooperative, submissive, be more feminine, not masculine, whatever.
Yeah, that's telling me what men want. That's not telling me how I can be those things.
I can't teach you how to be feminine. I can't teach you. Like, I can tell you, but I can't teach you. I can't raise my daughter to be feminine. I don't know how to be feminine. Now, when I see feminine, I can identify it, but I'm not a woman, so I can't teach how to be feminine. You see how a man operate, but how easy is it for a woman to teach their son how to be a man? There's certain things that you're not a man, so you won't understand these certain things of how to actually be a man. You get what I'm saying?
So then it kind of brings me to my point of, so if you're not a woman, so you can't raise your daughter to be feminine, but you can point it out. In the same breath, yeah, he could tell us what men want, but he's not a woman. So how can he tell us about our experiences when he's not a woman? You saying
how can he tell us what men want?
No, like, he can tell us what men want, but how can he, as a man, talk to a woman about her experiences?
He's not talking to him about the experiences. Basically, it's pretty much, speaking to you, I can see why you're undesirable to a man, because you're coming at me masculine. You're coming at me as if you're a guy.
But the reason why I feel like that's not a good interpretation of that person's character is because, again, when he first comes on, he's already on edge. He's waiting for you to say something just so he could jump down your throat. And even when I've seen instances where women are like, either they have a valid point or they even try to make a point, he's cutting them off. Like, I've even seen in the comments one time, people are like, yo, you didn't even give her a chance to speak.
Well, that I can agree with, where he cut the person off when they try to give their backstory, whatever. But the point he's trying to make is your backstory, people don't have to care about your backstory. Your backstory and the trials and tribulations that you went through, the average person don't give a damn about that. You get what I'm saying? So if you're applying for a job or whatever, and you're like, well, coming to work late sometimes can, kind of be an issue because, I have an unreliable car and, I don't make enough money to buy me a new car. The job don't want to hear about that. They're like, that's your circumstance. I want to know, can you get to work or can you not get to work?
Yeah, but I feel like that's the problem. When it comes to dating, I feel like that's the problem with a lot of relationships. I feel like a lot of times people don't take the time to figure out why is person A the way that they are. To me.
See, but here's the thing. If you have all this build up and negativity, you shouldn't even be looking for dating.
But I'm not saying it's negativity.
No, but what I'm saying is, okay, if you have a preconceived notion that all men are dogs,
okay,
why are you going into the dating field? Why are you looking to date somebody? You need to get to the root of why you think all men are dogs, whatever, yada, yada, and get out of that thinking of all men are dogs. Until you do that, all you're doing is making it worse for the next person that you date. They're going to be competing left to right with that and have to constantly peel the layers off, yada, yada. And especially for something they didn't do. Now, by the time they peel your layer, they're done. Now, at least if you go in there where you fought your demons and you're at a better space, and now while you're dating the person, like you say, you may have triggers that may trigger something. Yep. That's a different story than coming into the scene from the jump with all this negativity and all this. You get what I'm saying? So people go into relationships and didn't even get over their ex. Like, what are we doing here? So now all you're doing is bringing all that negativity upon that person, and that person had nothing to do with it. And it's like, well, you know, my ex did this and this. It's like, bro, I don't care about your ex. I'm not the one that caused it. Because in actuality, that's what it comes down. Like, I heard one woman talking about, you know, on his show, whatever, like, yeah, you know, I had a kid, whatever, with him, whatever, so you got to understand. He's like, what do I need to understand for? That was your decision to have unprotected sex with that man. So once you did that, you got to understand what comes with the territory for your decision.
I hear you. But
so don't expect for people to have sympathy for you because of a choice you made.
No, I understand, but we're not going to sit here and act like it's only women who have the issues.
But see, men do have the issues, but women make it seem like they're in a position of power. You're not. If there's more, what? If there's more women than men, that basically means if the job market is scarce and you're looking for a job to make money, whether it's at McDonald's or Burger King, whatever, guess what? If the jobs are scarce and it's even hard to get into Burger King and McDonald's and Burger King is like, for now on, if you gotta work here, you gotta wear suits to work. Mm-hmm. Guess what? You're gonna conform to wearing suits because the job market is so scarce, where it's more workers than jobs. So if it's more women than men, men have the options. So guess what? Who's at the disadvantage? If the men have more options than the women, then it's your job to conform to the men. You're not in position of power.
No, I definitely
you get what I'm saying?
What you're saying. But what I'm saying is I don't agree with what you're saying because women know that we outnumber men on any given day. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? No matter what. We know that we outnumber you guys. Mm-hmm. But the problem is a lot of those men aren't picking us. That's what my issue is. So I'm saying that it's not just about, oh, you know, black women. Like, to me, it comes off from Kevin Samuels like, oh, black women, we have all these issues, but I don't hear him say anything about the black men. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, if you're going to talk about it, talk about both. Talk about both sides.
Well, the way I see it, it's no point. Well, I won't say it's no point, but talking about the black men has been done.
By who?
In society and everywhere.
No, I'm talking about
the black
on a platform like a Kevin Samuels, who is actually holding these black men accountable.
What are you talking about? Kevin Samuels is like the first platform of him talking to women the way that he does.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But who's the female version, or who's the one that's holding men accountable the same way that Kevin Samuels is?
Everywhere you go, look at freaking Tyler Perry movies. Tyler Perry movies basically portray that every man. Matter of fact, they portray that the rich man is the scumbag, and the one who has really the bare minimums, whatever, is the hero. That's not always the case, but every movie he makes portrays that the woman is the victim.
No.
The majority of his movies, so you're saying the majority of Tyler Perry movies is not the woman is the victim and an average guy come save her from a rich dude or something like that.
Yeah, but see what you just said is a little loaded. First of all, it depends on how you look at it. Like, if you look at Diary of a Mad Black Woman, right? Mm-hmm. Look at the title within itself. I didn't look at, what's her name, Helen? I didn't look at her as a victim. I looked at her as an enabler. I looked at her as a stereotype. I looked at her in other ways other than playing the victim.
That's you.
Okay, that's true.
I've had multiple arguments with women on the subject. So we're talking about the average women, because anybody can talk about their personal experiences that don't equate to certain circumstances that Kevin Samuel may be talking about. Okay. But there's a reason why when he get on the phones with, like on the conversation with these women, they'll get on first saying, I don't want a high value man. But then once he asks the questions that he do, at the end of the day, it comes down to, yeah, when I have kids, I don't really want to work, whatever, yada, yada. But you just said you didn't want a high value man, whatever. You get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but see, here we go. So you mean to tell me you have to be a high value man in order to take care of your woman after she has your child?
No,
like, what happened?
No. She wants to stay home and not have to work.
Exactly. So you have to be a high value man in order to accommodate that?
Yes, financially to make it work, yes.
What happened to the Julius, like from Everybody Hates Chris? Or what happened to like there are men out there who are doing things like that, taking care of their lady, and they are considered high value men. So, and that's the other thing that bothers me, that he puts it out there as if, like, in a sense, kind of a dig to regular black men.
You're comparing a TV show.
No, but what I'm saying is there are men out there that are like that. My uncle was one of them until my aunt passed away, God rest her soul. There are men out there, again, I'm talking about my experiences. There are men out there like that who will take care of their family and let their wife be a stay-at-home mom, take care of what she needs to do. Some of them have, 2 jobs. Most of them have 1 job. And no, that wouldn't be considered a high-value man.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Okay.
The women who want to be stay-home moms, whatever, right, to these high-value men's or whatever, they're good with going shopping and everything like that. So let's look at it as a regular person who's working, and the wife is a stay-home mom, whatever, right?
Okay.
So that means that in order for that dude to provide, he's working either 2 or 3 jobs or working hella overtime. So let's just say on average 70 to 80 hours a week. That's paying the bills, putting food on the table, and that's covering the bare minimum where you can't go shopping, you can't do any extracurricular activities, you can't do nothing extra. How many women do you know really gonna settle for that?
Yeah, but you see, you said settle. I don't think that's settling. If you have...
The bottom line is...
So you go full of Kevin and
what I'm saying is, it sounds good in theory until you're home and your dude is not around because he's working so much and you don't have anything to buffer that feeling of loneliness. Yes, you can have the kids around, but what makes a woman feel good when it comes to basically what makes a woman feel good? Self-care. A woman could be stressed out or whatever. Hey, I'm gonna go to the spa.
But that's not all women.
That's not all women, but it's therapeutic for women. So if you can't do those things and you living with the bare minimum, how many women can actually say they're okay with that?
Yeah, but you talk about the bare minimum with 2-3 jobs, 70 to 80 hours a year. Where are these people living at? Depending
on the circumstances, I don't see where a person is a wife is a stay-home mom, and they have 2 or 3 kids, and the guy is the main guy, the male is the main person working, and he's not earning at least 6 figures, whether it's let's just say $100K.
I don't see that. I feel like that's unrealistic because there are people that do it, and the husband isn't making 6 figures. Granted, I'll even say 40 to 60,000 a year, and they make it happen. Because what do? Your kids are probably in public school. They're probably not in private, even though in some instances they are, because the less money you make, the more resources that are out there for you. But people make it work. I feel like people put they put that out there in the air, but you fail to realize that there are some women out there who would love to be in that position, but because of their circumstance, they have no choice but to be, mom and dad because they're head of household.
I honestly cannot see it possible.
Yeah, because I feel like you have a stereotypical view of women. We have to go shopping. We have to get our nails done. We have to go to the spa.
That's not even what I'm getting at.
Okay.
What I'm getting at is, in today's time, it's damn near impossible to raise 2 kids. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, you're a single parent. Okay. For you to raise 2 kids on a $40,000 salary.
But people make it happen. Man, listen, you have
people may make it happen if you're a single parent and you're getting some type of government assistance. Yes, I can understand that.
Not necessarily. I feel like if you look at the national poverty line, and if you look at all of this information, everyone is not going to be in that high value category.
They're not.
Exactly, which means that they're making it happen. Like, I'm just speaking from experience. Granted, it's not a child, it's my mother. But I had, at one point, I think I was making like maybe $36,000 a year, taking care of my mom and son. My son was in private, actually still is, still in private school. I'm paying the rent, I'm paying the bill, all of that stuff. Didn't get public assistance. And I made it happen. And I still managed to get my nails done. And I still managed to go out. Like, you can still manage to do those things. Now, granted, was I living in a house or what? Like, you have to live within your means also when you're in those things. But it is possible. Okay,
that's you, your son, and your mom. Now add another part. Now add another mouth to feed in there that basically stays home or whatever. That's more money for groceries and stuff that you have to put on the table.
Yeah, but you make it happen.
All right.
What I'm saying is you make it happen. My son wasn't in, what you think, private school is cheap? Like,
no,
my son
I understand that 100%, but yo, when I tell you that struggle will be real, and the average person, who's going to sit through that?
I mean, I hear you, but I feel like it's that mentality is what enforces a lot of black women to feel like they have to have that high value man, because in a sense, it's like you're almost saying, it's almost like you're knocking, the brother that is making that amount, because it's like, oh no, that's not going to be enough for you. You need to go to this.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you're with an average earner, or whatever, pretty much you need two incomes to make it work where I can be comfortable. So why is it that if we're barely making ends meet and you can even get a part-time job or something to make things work, is that difficult? You get what I'm saying? Difficult. At the end of the day, I'm like, yo, for you to basically live comfortable, you need to at least be making like six figures or whatever. And the reason why I say you need to be comfortable is because, granted, you may be making it work. Okay. But you better pray an emergency situation don't happen. Because if an emergency situation happens, guess what? Now you're up-ish creek. You get what I'm saying?
I mean, I think it depends. Like, granted, I'm only speaking from my experience, but I feel like because of the fact that it's just me, taking care of my mom and son, not on public assistance, I don't receive child support, none of those things. Now, before the job I have now, right? When you adjust, part of that is saving. Part of that is budgeting for a rainy day. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, maybe you can't have the car. Maybe you're going to have to take the bus. Maybe you can't get the house. You're going to have to be in an apartment. Like, yes, there are certain sacrifices you have to make. But I still believe that it is possible.
Yes, you believe it's possible. At the end of the day, we're getting away from the conversation because you're saying, yes, it make it possible, and what's wrong with this? That's a question that you need to ask the women who come in here and say they want a high-value man because they want to be a stay-at-home wife and still want to enjoy the finer things in life.
See, I don't know. Granted, I'm not an avid watcher of his segment, but from what I've seen, it's more so the women calling in and him asking them certain questions where it's like, oh yeah, I can see myself being a stay-at-home mom. Oh yeah, I do want this. Oh yeah, I do. And then it's like, okay, now he starts to rip them apart. Like, I have yet to hear a woman call in and say, yes, Kevin, I deserve a high-value man. I'm going to tell you what. Like, I have yet to hear that. It's usually the questions that he asks.
But these women do call up and say they deserve a high-value man. And these are the women who will be pushing 40-something years old, have 2 or 3 kids, and they're overweight, whatever. So he's like, why do you feel you deserve a high-value man? Oh, I could cook, I could clean, whatever, yada, yada. So then he breaks it down. So you mean to tell me you're 40-something, you have 2 or 3 kids, which means that you have mileage, on your goods or whatever. And you're saying you're offering cooking and cleaning?
What, with cars now?
No. Why would a man that makes significant amount of money choose you over a woman that doesn't have kids and is half your age, but you feel you deserve a high-value man? Now, granted, he's saying, yo, if you get a high-value man or whatever, cool. But statistically, for you to get the 1%, and I know you love numbers and statistics, statistically, what is the chance of you getting a high value man with what you have to offer to the table as opposed to your counterpart who's half your age, no kids?
Yeah, but see, I don't know. I guess it depends on what you're looking for, because a lot of times those women who are half our age, or half their age, who are looking for these high value men, they aren't looking for marriage.
The bottom line, I understand they might not be looking for marriage or whatever the case may be, but these men will pick them over you because they have less baggage.
So then you're trying to say that his point is we pretty much need to accept the average man.
What he's saying is, why do you feel the need to want to only date a high value man? Then he's like, what's wrong with dating somebody who makes $40K a year? And then every woman's rebuttal is, yeah, I wouldn't mind dating him. I wouldn't mind dating him if he makes $40K a year, if he has ambition and he's like, no, he don't want ambition. He's good with making $40K a year. Then it's you get what I'm saying? So it's like.
But again, what is wrong with wanting a man with ambition?
What is wrong with dating a man who is good with what he's doing? Women keep saying, what's wrong with dating a man with ambition? Okay, so what's wrong with dating a man where he's happy with what he's doing?
I think it depends on what he's doing.
See, there you go. Adding stipulations. It's more and more stipulations.
No, because, man, listen. Like I said, I did not go to school for all these years and accrue all this debt to be with someone who doesn't have ambition. If you are, and again, you don't have to get a degree. You do not have to be out here making six figures. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to start your own business, you want to, whatever it is that you want to do, of course, I'm going to support you 110%. But here's the kicker. In order for us, didn't you just say you need to be six figures in order to live comfortably, stuff like that? Mm-hmm. So what is wrong with the woman wanting that? Which means that the gentleman is going to have to change some things, step it up a little bit so that we can live comfortably and be at that six figures.
Because you're missing the point.
Okay, what's the point?
The women are not in the position of power. All your degrees and stuff just make your dating pool more limited.
But why do you say limited?
Because you're saying he has to have ambition, this, that, and the third. So pretty much, whereas if you have a guy who's reached his career goal and he's willing to date below his below him or beneath him or above him, and you're here and you're like, the person gotta be at my level, but they gotta show ambition. So while this person has all this, all you have is this. So you're limiting your dating pool.
No, because if you have ambition, you don't have to necessarily be up here. You can be at 40K.
But you're still limiting it because you still have the men who are like, I'm good with where I'm at. So you're still limiting your pool.
I hear what
it's still
saying.
Putting a cap to your pool no matter how you look at it. You get what I'm saying?
No matter
how you look at it, it's still a cap.
I hear what you're saying.
Like, for instance,
but we would still.
Here's a prime example.
Okay.
My one of my roommates, whatever, from me, San, and my boy, we all lived together.
Okay.
My boy worked at NJ Transit, right? Mm-hmm. He had jobs offers for him to work on the train, this, that, and the third. No. He was good with what he was doing and maintenance. If he get a raise here and there, cool. But he was perfectly fine with what he was doing. He loved his job. And he's like, I have the freedom I want. I get to do what I want. Yada. I want to be right where I'm at.
Okay.
We even pushed for him to get his license. Nope. This is where I want to be. I'm good with that.
Okay.
You have men and women who that's what they want.
I hear what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying?
But I feel like because of the fact that we're in the Northeast, you know what it is to live in New Jersey. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like again, to go to your point, in order to live comfortably, especially when you start adding on family, you want home ownership, you want all these different things. You do, and granted, I don't know what your friend's salary was, but you do have to you know, I don't want to say level up, but for sake of conversation, you do have to do some things differently, like you said, if you want to live comfortably.
But again, that's how you feel about it.
Okay.
But how he feel about it, I'm good.
I mean, I
You
guess
get what
at
I'm
the
saying?
end of the day, because here's the thing: just because women will say, or black women will say, "Oh, I want my man to have a mission. I want this. I want that." That doesn't necessarily mean we're sitting at home knitting, waiting for this high value man to knock on our door. We do give them, you know, we do give men the opportunity to, you know, date us or whatever. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But I just don't like the fact that it's like, okay, if you don't look like Beyonce, and actually I don't even think he gave Beyonce a 10. I think he said Beyonce was like, what, an 8? Or something like that. It's like, unless you look like this or you're, you know, you have this going on for yourself, you shouldn't even expect that. You shouldn't
What's the difference between women who are dimes and they feel like, yo, if you don't make money or you look like LL or something, don't even waste your time talking to me. So why is it okay for women to have these standards, but for guys to have these standards, it's a problem?
And no one said it was a problem. First of all, men have been doing this for ages. How many times have we had colorism? Actually, I read a report recently. I think it was either, if it wasn't Chris Brown, it was like Trey Songz, where he had kicked out a dark-skinned girl because of the fact that she was dark-skinned, but kept her white and you know, fair-skinned friend in his VIP section. Men have always been, and that's the thing that bothers me. Men have always put these things on women where they felt like I told you before, we got to wear multiple hats. We got to be the porn star. We got to be the chef. We got to be the caregiver. We got to be so many different things. And I feel.
See, this is where I want to catch you on that. Okay. Because you say women got to be porn stars. Women got to be this, got to be that. Women enable that.
What do you mean?
I've had many experiences where if I'm dating a woman, right? No, listen. I've had many experiences where if I'm dating a woman, right? And since they're really into me, and it's like, hey, whenever I'm in their presence, they pretty much want to do everything in this. Here, lay back. I'm going to do it. Let me clean this. Let me do that. Oh, you hungry? Let me do that. So if you're building this, because women's actions go based on their emotions. So if you're happy with this person, you want them to be comfortable. You want to lay back. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
Okay.
So what are you doing? You're enabling him to be relaxed because I'm going to do all this stuff.
Yeah, but you just said it. If they're into you.
Yes.
Okay, if they're into you, that's not something you just break out with every man.
But listen what you're saying. You just said the man expect you to be a porn star, this, that, and the third. If that man marries you, whatever, he expects that. Because if you built that policy of having him relaxed and you do everything, guess what? You created that monster.
No, but that's different. You're in the relationship or you're dating and you built that. You put that out there. I'm talking about the men that just put it out there like, look, if you're going to date me or, you know, you want this type of man, this is what you have to do. But again, I feel like men have always put it out there that these are the type of women that they want. Which goes back to what you were saying before about how, oh yeah, you know, dating a white woman is different from this. Like, that has always been out there about these different things that men put on women. And that's why I'm like, yo, it's always been out there.
Yeah, but the main thing for the difference of dating a black woman and a white woman is the white woman is like way more submissive.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying though. Like, you're like, oh, well, Kevin Samuels, he's the Godfather. He finally came out and told women what they should do. No, it's always been out there.
No.
Society is so hard on women.
No, that is a lie.
Think about it. Why did they start with the whole women empowerment movement? Why did Beyonce...
That was just to give them women opportunities so they can be in the workforce. Stuff like that.
But I'm speaking in general. Even when you look at, you know, the whole, in general, you look at the women empowerment movement. Oh, yeah, we're an independent woman, you know, all this stuff. Why did that stuff start? Why did that stuff continue? Because of the fact that women have been beat down. We've been black women, that's what I'm referring to. We've been beaten down. We've been talked about. Like, look at how, for example, when you guys did that episode about, what was it, something about the black woman. And what did I say to you? I said the number one thing that I felt was missing was you failed to mention how, you know, black women don't always want to be strong. You know, there's actually a movement that was going on where women are like, look, we want certain adjectives to be removed from describing a black woman. Why? Because of comments that you just said right now that make it seem like, oh yeah, we don't want to date black women because they're strong, they got attitudes, they got this, this, and that. That's not all of us. So what I'm saying is there's always been these Kevin Samuels type men who have been out there putting down a black woman. And that's why I'm like, yo, we don't need one of our own coming out putting us down. Tell us what we need, but also uplift us. Give us the resources and the tools that we need so we can be on the path to being a wife.
But when you tell women when you tell women this and want to give them their resources, they don't want to hear that.
Well, it's not all of them.
See, there we go. Whenever it comes to talking about women, it's not all of us. But when it comes to a man, men are always lumped into one. You get what I'm saying?
I hear what you're saying.
A woman literally came on his show that was also a content creator and was like, yo, I tried to tell these women, you know, this, that, and the third, and they tried to basically get me canceled.
I hear what you're saying.
So it's like,
but here's the thing. I don't know the connotation in which she said it. I don't know what her delivery was. I don't follow her, but I follow him. And what I'm saying is that the way that he comes off, it'd be hard for anybody to receive his message because of the way that he comes off. Now, granted, it took me, I think, about the third episode or maybe the third link you probably sent me before it started to sink in, like, and then I had you like interpret it and stuff for me and all this other stuff to feel like, oh, okay, let me be subjective. I'm not going to be offended because, I mean, me personally, I don't feel offended by the stuff he says because I'm not saying it doesn't apply to me. I'm not saying that, but I feel like a good chunk of what he has to say doesn't apply to me. However, I know when I can take some gems that he's dropping and I can apply it into my life. I will say that. But like I said before, the thing that bothers me is he makes it seem like, oh, this is this new thing. Women have been going around. He's like, we had hot girl summers. And then, first of all, that was a new term that's coined for like, what, the past year or two? That hasn't always been around. But he makes it seem as if we're like, we have our blinders on, we want to be these free birds, and then wait until we're 40, and now all of a sudden we want to settle down, these high value, like that's not how it is. And like I said before, my circumstances are the reason why I had became a head of household. Like if it were up to me, no, I wouldn't be out here doing all these different things. Like for example, back in the day, women used to go to college to get an MRS degree. We outnumber men in college now. So we're actually getting degrees now. Like black women are starting to outpace some black men. I didn't say all. So we have no choice but to carry on that head of household, to be that go-getter, to, you know, do all of those things to level up. Because again, like you said, we always outnumber our black men. I don't feel like that's our fault, that we have to be punished for wanting to be ambitious and for wanting more, getting our degrees.
Nobody's saying else. that you're punished for having your degrees. But I feel like that's how he comes off, because it's like, oh, you majoring in human services. What do you want to do with that? There's no money in this. Like tearing down. Like this is the thing, because of the generation that we're in. I'll speak for myself. That's what we were told. You go to college, you get a good job, you know, you do all these things. Why? Because, you know, don't be like grandma or don't be like myself, where I'm depending on this man and we stuck it out. They weren't happy. They wanted their daughters to go on, achieve more, because like I said, at the end of the day, your man can leave, but your degree will be with it. Your degree will be there with you. Your career will be there with you. So I don't feel like I said, we should be punished for having that mentality. Now that we know, and that's the other thing, it's not that there's anything wrong with that mentality, it's just that, okay, now we need to shift our gears a little bit, the same way we were going to school and getting that knowledge on how to be a teacher, a doctor, etc., etc. Now we need to refocus and get those classes, get those, you know, teachings of how to be a wife, how to be a better mom, how to be, you know what I mean, like all those different things. And I feel like it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Yeah, but I understand it's not what you say, it's how you say it or whatever. Mm-hmm. But again, if you listen to his show in entirety, when you listen to these women speak, they say, oh, I'm gonna learn these things to be a wife, whatever, yada yada, this, that, and the third. But as they go deep into the conversation, it comes like you come to the realization, like, no, you definitely not gonna do these things. You just want a high value man so you can sit on your butt, get all these benefits and everything like that, and live your best life, so to speak. It's crazy to me, like I say, how older women were teaching younger women early, like, hey, if a good man come your way, take that good man, help build with him, whatever, yada yada, because I'm tired of hearing that excuse of, hey, I chose my career path, whatever. You could choose your career path while you're with somebody and build with them. You get what I'm saying?
It depends, because a lot of men aren't strong enough. They're not mentally, like, I'm just speaking from experience. Like, some men get intimidated by that.
How?
Like, it may not be you, but I'm just saying from experience.
Yeah, I've been in. What kind of men are these, though?
Man, for example, felt intimidated by the things that, I was pursuing at the time. Like, I didn't even have my bachelor's degree yet. But, I mean, he felt intimidated because in his mind, it was like, oh, well, she's leveling up. She's about to get a degree. She's about to do these things. Oh, but she thinks she's better than me. Oh, she probably going to leave me. Oh, like, all the insecurities. And granted, at the time, I didn't even have my degree. So you can't even say, oh, I got my degree, now it changed. No. I didn't even have a degree yet. But some men are intimidated by those things. And I don't think that should be our fault either.
If the man is somewhat intimidated by, like how you say, it's about communication. How about communicate that, no, I'm not trying to one you up. You get what I'm saying? Like, if you're building with the person, whatever, communication is key, where it's like, yo, this is for us, yada. You get what I'm saying? So it's like,
I hear you, but you can have those conversations. And if a person is insecure, or they feel like, whatever they feel, for whatever reason they feel it, there's no amount of assuring in the world that you can do to tell. So it's like you said it before too, you want to be with someone who's secure. When you're with an insecure person, you don't want to constantly have to deal with the drama, the nagging, the constant reassurance. It's almost like, so what? Is it every 3 days you're supposed to let the person know, hey, I'm getting closer to my degree, but you're the only one I want. Just know I'm not going to leave you. Like, you have to be secure. And that's what I'm trying to also convey. When you are a certain type of woman that has certain things going for yourself, some men do feel intimidated by those things. Now, granted, some people can argue on the end, oh, those aren't the men you should be dating, or, oh, what's wrong with the man, this and that. But in the same breath, you just said, no, you should give the man a chance. And that's what we try to do. And I feel like in my circle of friends, all of us have degrees. And we all have a similar story of, now I can say comfortably, we're in situations where we're in relationships, they're doing well. But prior to those people that we're with now, it's like, the dating scene was a mess. Like, it's not like we purposely go around like, hey, I have my degree on my head and you have to be a high value man. No. A lot of times it's the men that will ask you, oh, yeah, what do you have going for yourself? Because we know we're not our degree. We know we're not our career. That's just what we do. That's just what I achieved. But there are a lot of men out there where they hear what you have going for yourself, and either they feel like they can try to get in so they can take advantage, or a lot of them are intimidated by it. And again, like I said about the Kevin Samuels thing, that's not our fault. And it makes it hard for us, because I can genuinely say, me and my group of friends, we're not those stereotypes that they have in their mind of black women. It's like people have this, not people, certain men have a stereotype in their head of what a black woman is. And I feel like it's hard because not only, like you said, are we competing with other races of people and then women half our age or younger than us, but now we also got to compete with these stereotypes.
Yeah, but you're giving me anecdotal evidence, whatever. When it comes to the average woman, yes, I understand you're saying, hey, with me, that's not the case, whatever. I could say, hey, that's not the case with me too, but I know one of my homies or whatever who that's the situation with them. Like, they can tell me stories, yo, man, I got with Shorty and Shorty was a straight up gold digger. Or I got with Shorty and, yo, Shorty was just like dogging me out. You get what I'm saying? So everybody has their own has their own story, whatever. But like I said, that they say, oh, you can't handle a strong black woman, so to speak. And that comes with me speaking my mind, me saying what I want, you got to take it, blah, blah, blah. Like all these things that come with it. And then when you hear women glorifying negative behavior, even like within the music and stuff, you hear women glorifying, just go on TikTok or social media. What do you see?
Yeah, but here's the thing. If men didn't look at that and entertain it, guess what? It would be shut down.
See, there's the misconception that women have, whatever. Like, if you're going to show it, a guy is going to look. And most of these women, they do it because they want the attention.
Yeah, because of the attention that they get from men.
Okay,
Women
so what does
don't do
that
stuff
tell?
for attention for other women.
So what does that tell you?
That tells me that this is what they did. Men appreciate it. So guess what? They're going to keep doing it. Like, oh, okay, I see I'm getting attention for twerking. All right, now I'm going to be half naked and twerk.
Okay.
Now I'm going to do OnlyFans.
Okay,
Now
so
I'm
then,
going to, you know what I mean?
So then don't get in situations and then say, oh, this man is a dog or this man is crap, because you gave the impression of, this is what I do.
I hear you, but at the same time, like I said, if men didn't entertain it and make us feel like, well, I'm not going to say us because I don't do that, but if men didn't entertain it and make women feel like this is acceptable, like, do you know how many times I've talked to friends or I've talked to students where they felt like, oh, I have to dress like this, I have to be like that in order to get attention, or for a man to notice me, or for this, and that, because of the fact that men entertain it. I hear what you're saying. The men will look, yeah, they'll probably sleep with them or whatever, but they're not going to take them seriously. But how do we know that?
Let me ask you this. These women that say, there's what it took for these men to entertain me, did they actually approach guys that they were interested in? Or did they wait for the guys to come speak to them? Because if you're saying, I want a good guy, whatever, how many women are actually going out to look for the good guy or try and step to a guy? None of them. They just want to sit there and say, I'm going to wait for God to bring the man to me, and that's that. So if you're going to wait for God to, if you're saying most men are intimidated by women, then of course they're going to be scared to approach you. So now if you're going to take the route of wearing a thought costume, of course you're going to get the views, but just be aware of the attention you're gonna get. You can get a good guy, right?
Okay.
And he sees you like dressed like a thought. That good guy is like, oh, okay, this chick is just here is just basically for a good time. And right then and there, since you're a good time, in his mind, if this is how I met you, what are you doing behind the scenes, behind closed doors? You get what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Like I said, these women who say, oh, I didn't get attention, when they tell me that they actually approach guys and ask guys for numbers, yada, yada, this, that, and the third, then you can have a valid argument. But if that's not the case, miss me with it.
It's hard to say, oh, yeah, you're going to approach a man. Because like I said, we've had Kevin Samuels in our Kevin Samuels in our ear for the longest. So it's hard for a woman to sit back and say, oh yeah, I'm going to approach a guy, because we don't know how you're going to perceive us.
Oh, that's BS. The reason why I say that is because a woman can walk up to a guy with a nice body. Oh, wow, you have a nice body, and touch all over him, whatever. And the guy may be like, yo, hey, step back, whatever, this, that, and the third. I remember this chick was making a prank where she was just running up on guys and just randomly sitting on their laps or whatever. Uh-huh. What guy can just randomly run up to women and just sit on their laps? Especially black women at that.
I hear you.
You get what I'm saying?
I definitely
hear you. So it's like, yo, don't tell me, oh, I don't know how to approach a guy, this, that, and the third. Women have the misconception all men are horn dogs anyway. So if you step to a guy, the worst he'll say is, hey, I'm not interested or whatever, or keep it moving. So yeah, I don't agree.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but a lot of us ladies were raised to be, contrary to popular belief about black women, we were raised to be demure. We were raised to be, ladies. Let the man approach us. Like you said, We want the man to be aggressive. We want him to take charge. Now, when you said the thing about women wanted equal rights, want to be on the same playing field, we were talking about in terms of career, in terms of advancement. We weren't talking about, for example, even if I did want to be treated equally, even if I did want equal rights, that still doesn't take away from the fact that I want you to hold the door for me.
Okay.
I want you to still bring me flowers.
Okay.
I want you to still court me.
So peep this, right?
Okay.
It's cool to do that, right? But yet women adapt to, hey, I'm the breadwinner now. I'm the one who's head of household. So you can conform to that, but you can't conform to all the other stuff of, hey, maybe I need to go and approach a man or whatever.
Yeah,
so you
because,
can you can basically pick and choose what aspects of equality you want.
Not exactly. You just said it yourself. You gave the example of your friend who was okay with where he was. And let's just say, for sake of argument, he got with someone who was the breadwinner based on how much she earned. Now, we have no choice but to conform. What are we supposed to do? Kick him to the curb and look for that high value man?
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm getting at.
Okay,
what I'm getting at is, you're saying, because you said, oh, it's hard for women because we were raised and taught, you got a man is supposed to court you, a man is supposed to do this. Well, you was raised that a man is supposed to provide, a man is supposed to be head of the household, a man is supposed to be the one making the most money, whatever. So how is it that women adjusted to, I'm the breadwinner, this, that, and the third, but you then adjust to maybe I need to approach a man?
Because we had no choice.
So you say you didn't have a choice, right?
No, if
you technically do have a choice.
Okay,
you don't
so
gotta. You don't have to. You don't have to get with a guy where you're gonna be the breadwinner.
But see, now I'm confused because first you're saying
no. What I'm trying to say is you're saying we don't have a choice.
Okay.
Technically, you do have a choice. Just like you have a choice if you wanna start approaching men, or you're gonna still stay in the mindset of a guy gotta approach me. That's a choice. Women have no. We have no choice in being the breadwinner. Like, it's something. No, you do have a choice because you can find a dude that is the breadwinner.
Okay, but then what does that mean? Because depending on what the woman makes, is that now going into the territory of a high value man? Now I gotta reevaluate. Am I worthy of a high value man according to Kevin Samuels? So you just proved my point of how hard it is to be a black woman.
No. Everybody think just because you make $100,000, you're a high value man. He specifically say the high value man's club is pretty much, I think, $300,000 or $400,000 a year. Or granted, if you make $10,000 a month, that's a high value man qualification.
It's not that simple what you're saying. So we have no choice, like I said, and I'll stand by that. We have no choice but to be, depending on the circumstance. We have no choice but to accept the fact that we're going to be the breadwinner or we're going to be the head of household.
And that's fine and understandable. But if you sitting there waiting for men to come to you and it hasn't been working and you got to do all these gymnastics to get a guy to step to you and it haven't been working, then in my mind you have no choice but to change tactics. And how about you approach men?
I hear what you're saying, but we're afraid of rejection and we're afraid of how it's going to come off.
Put your big girl drawers on.
But here's the thing, though, and I feel like this is why it's so hard for women. Because on one end, you're like, oh, don't put that masculine energy out there. Oh, don't do this, don't do that. But in our mind, it's like, yeah, we need you men to decipher, like, what do you mean by certain things? What do you mean by you want us to take charge, but you don't want us to dominate? You want us to take initiative, but you don't want us to, you know what I mean? It's like
taking initiative and masculine energy is two different things. If a woman stepped to a guy, hello, sir, I find you very attractive or whatever, and I was wondering, can I get to know you better? That's not masculine energy. That's very feminine.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? That's a very feminine approach. It's like if you want to go to the movies or setting up plans to go to the movies. It's like, hey, this Friday, I'm setting up for us to go to the movies, whatever. So is that something you would be into, whatever? You're taking charge, but you're still not being masculine about it.
I hear what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying? Now, if you be like, mother effer, we going to the movies Friday. Get yourself dressed and wear them boxer briefs I like. That's masculine energy. You get what I'm saying? So
I understand. But the thing is, but this is what I'm saying. These are the type of conversations I feel like women need to hear. Not the Kevin Samuels one. A one like this where it's like, okay, for the average earner or the regular Joe Schmo, we need to know, what is it that these type of men like? You know, you just said the thing about approaching them. And you just said the thing about making plans. Like, we need to know these things because, unfortunately, you know, men have changed. The same way you said women have changed. Like, I know once upon a time, and I know I'm not that old, but men would approach the woman. Men would send drinks to ladies. Men would, you know, like, they would do those things.
Yeah.
And now it's almost like it's shifted.
You know why? Because a lot of women basically go by the I could do bad by myself and I don't need a man. Like, a lot of women have this mentality where it's like, I don't need a man. And granted, I understand the bad apples mess that up, where the good ones are like, yo, we're looking for a chick or whatever. You get what I'm saying? So with it's being pushed out that women don't need men, men are intimidated to speak to women because they feel like I'm wasting my time here. Like, I remember this one dude was telling me where he was like, yo, man, I stepped to this chick to approach her. She didn't give me a time of day. But then he ran into her again on IG, got the number. Wait, what?
Well, see, then that's...
You get what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
another
you get what
thing,
I'm saying?
too.
So it's
Yeah.
like now approaching a woman, like, I don't know. It's so difficult. Like, some women have the notion, I'm going out, I'm throwing on my headphones, I don't want to be bothered with no man. I don't want no man hollering at me. Like, they already have a preconceived notion that I'm not giving nobody a time of day. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
Do you go out the house like many a times where you was like, yo, I just want to go out, I don't want nobody bothering, I'll throw my headphones on, I'm ignoring everybody.
Yeah.
Exactly. Men take all these things into consideration. So it's like, yo, I may be attractive, but she's not beat for anybody today. These are things that play in the mentality of men, and it's like so much negativity about I don't need a man. So it's like,
yeah, but you have to break that down. You have to dissect that a little bit because no one wants to wake up one day and say,
put it like this.
okay.
Just like you say, women are afraid of rejection, men are afraid of rejection. That's why nowadays people have so much brave courage when it comes to online.
Absolutely.
Because you can be anonymous, and if you get rejected, it's not a face-to-face interaction.
Absolutely.
So that's the thing that I'm saying. Like, okay, women are afraid to get rejected, but men are afraid to get rejected too. So,
I hear what you're saying, but it's like traditionally though, it's always been the men approach a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, it's also in the approach. Like, to me, I just feel like, you know, when I was on the dating scene, like, the quality of men had changed.
look, it was traditionally that at a club, women are not shaking their ass, twerking like crazy. That was something you did in private.
Okay.
And if you saw a woman on the dance floor that was doing it, women would be like, oh, she wilding out. I wouldn't be doing that in public. So if that was something that was not standard, but now it's standard now, what's the difference of it was traditional men talk to women, now women are go-getters and like, yo, I know what I want, so I'm going to go after it. So it's like, again, it goes back to picking and choosing what to conform to.
I hear what you're saying, but it's not all women, and that's the thing that you have to understand. So
I
it's not
understand
all
that,
women
but
that are okay.
But what I'm saying is, which goes back to my point, you're saying that women are saying that I wasn't getting attention, so now I'm changing my clothes to get attention. Okay, but were you actually stepping to men when you was dressed in proper, nice looking
because
clothes?
they'd rather have the one that's half naked twerking.
That you're not listening to me. Okay. What I'm saying is the woman is saying I wasn't getting attention from guys.
Okay.
So now I switched my dress code to dressing slutty pretty much.
No, it wasn't slutty.
No, but I'm just saying,
yeah.
Of course I'm being extra with it, but I'm just saying in general, you're wearing a thought costume. Let's just say that. You're wearing a thought costume, right? So with you wearing a thought costume, it's like, okay, prior to that, when you said guys weren't giving you no attention, did you try to step to guys and see if you got attention, or did you just sit back and see if they're gonna talk to you? Because the only way you could tell me that, hey, me dressing proper didn't work was if you tried both both sides. It's like, yo, so what you're telling me is, if you go on a job market and all you do is search online and you're like, dang, I don't get no jobs by searching online, so you know what? I'm just gonna stop looking. No, you're gonna go out and start filling applications. If that don't work, you're gonna start asking friends, hey, do you know of any jobs that's available? No, you don't? All right, what's the next action I can do? All right, let me try Indeed. That doesn't work? All right, let me try Craigslist. So, if you didn't try these different avenues and just sat back and was like, all right, I'm going to see what's gonna come to me.
But no, in their mind, they did change things. Like, all right, well, let me switch up how I dress. Okay, let me switch the venue. Let me go to this spot. Let me do... Again, these are the conversations I feel like need to be had. Because then it lets women know, like, okay, well, this is what I need to do in order to, you know, attract the man, get the man, and then keep the man.
And here's a fun factor for you too. When women that dress, you know, promiscuous, whatever, the guys you attract, now, you may get some rare cases with it, not rare cases, you may get some situations where, hey, the guy you meet is a good guy, whatever. But the average guy, if he meet a girl that's, you know, dressed nice, whatever, and let's just say she's at the lot, on a line at Rita's or something like that.
Okay.
He's gonna be like, yo, man, that chick is nice. She seems like she's a keeper, so to speak, whatever, yada, yada. Your initial reaction, of course, sex is on the mind, whatever, but your initial reaction is like, yo, this shorty, I gotta take my time with, you know, yada, yada, this, that, and third. But if you just come onto the scene like you're dressed however, in their mind, they're like, okay, this is about smashing.
I hear what you're saying,
get what I'm
but
saying?
sometimes men don't always want that. They don't want the
No, I know that, but what I'm saying is, if for women who dress that way to draw the attention, if you're looking for a long-term relationship, that's not the way to go about it. Getting likes and stuff is one thing, but just know with that, you're drawing people that just looking at you as a sexual object.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So, like I said, you may get some guys who it's like, hey, they came in with the preconceived notion sexual object, and then they're like, yo, this chick is a keeper. You do have situations like that, but you gotta take the good with the bad. For those you might think you're a keeper, you're also gonna get people who's gonna be like, yo, this chick is just for fun. Okay. But you lessen that if it's a woman you meet that's properly dressed nice, whatever, yada, yada, you're gonna take her more, you know, seriously. And another thing too is like with Kevin Samuels, him saying, you know, career women, whatever, yada, yada, their dating pool is limited, not limited where it's not as open. That doesn't mean that career women does not have opportunities in the dating field. No. It's just saying when women get to a career goal and they're set high, their choice of men is much harder for them to accept, for that woman to accept. It's not saying you can't get a man, but her choice of man, it's a harder choice for her to make.
But see, I feel like this is the interpretation we need in the comment section, because the way that he comes off and the things that he says is completely different from how, or maybe I'm just receiving it different from what you're saying.
Well, let's look at it like this. If it didn't have the animosity and drama, it wouldn't get the popularity that it wants. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So let's be real. If it's paying the bills, yo, if I came out with a ratchet thing and I saw it's paying the bill, yo, I'm gonna be like, yo, Vic, we need to add you to the show too, because we could bring some more ratchetness up in this bad boy. So, yeah, like I said, the principle of what he says, I get it. But I tell you many a times, a lot of the things he do, how he go about it, cutting people off and, you know, stuff like that, I don't agree with, because I'm like, well, damn, I did want to hear, you know, what she had to say, her story, whatever, this, that, and the third. Now, again, when I say that people don't have to care about your history, they really don't. Just like people don't have to care about my history. But in an ideal world, people do listen to your backstory. But it's not their job to care or take it into consideration. At the end of the day, that's still the Godfather to me. I got you, Kevin Samuels, the Godfather.
No, he's not bad. He really isn't bad. You know, I took the time to watch his YouTube videos and his, you know, IG lives. Like, he really isn't bad. I think once you dissect what he's saying and you tear down that hard exterior a little bit, you do realize like, oh, okay, he really is dropping some gems. Like, but he really does have something.
You know what though? Outside of YouTube, he's the most coolest cat. Like, if you see him like on his Instagrams when he's like out and about and stuff like that.
Yeah, he does seem
he's
like that.
really a cool cat. But he's like, yo, when it comes to my platform, I gotta be.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
It really is entertaining. So it's one of those things where you have to be subjective when you listen to his content in order to really get the information that he's saying.
Put it like this. It's like wrestling. When you see the bad guy, you're like, oh my God, he's the worst guy. But when you see him in person, them dudes are nice as hell.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying?
He's a complete sweetheart. But no, like, there are certain things that, you know, again, if you can dissect his content and actually stomach a full episode, he does have some nice things to say. And I feel like, you know, I will admit, I do think us as Black women, we do need to take more accountability. You know, we can't always deflect and point the finger and say, yeah, but men do, but men can. We got to stop doing that. You know, we do have to take more accountability. I can only speak for myself. You know, I do aspire to be a wife one day. And some of the things that he does say, you know, I do take into consideration because, you know, I don't want to die alone with the dog or be the cat lady. You know, like, I actually, you know, love my Black men. I appreciate my Black men. And at the end of the day, this is all entertainment, you know, but I do feel like, you know, as a sidebar, you know, we could do better as a race of people so that way we can have more marriages. Like, I saw something earlier that said, what was it, like 25% of Black women will marry, and then about half that will actually stay married. Like, that really shocked me to the core, because it's like, wait, so you mean to tell me my chances are slim, and then the chances of me staying married are slim? But, you know, I really do feel like we, you know, as a race of people, we need to do better, not just for our communities, but for each other, so that way our children can, you know, see something different, so we can break those generational curses. I definitely, you know, took some of the gems that he said. You know, I may not agree 100% with everything that he says or even his delivery, but I can take away from it, you know, as I mentioned, I do feel like me as a Black woman, I know there are things that I can do better in terms of, you know, like letting my Black man know that I need him, I appreciate him, and, you know, at the end of the day, like, yes, I can be submissive. I can be all of those things so we could be on the track to, you know, marriage, so our children can see differently. So I definitely have taken those things from it, because I'll be honest with you, you know, being on the path of being in school and focusing on career, the very last thing on my mind and the very last thing that even my mom taught me was, okay, now being a wife and what that means to be a wife. So again, I definitely took some gems from what he said, and, you know, we'll try to incorporate it into my life, but it has changed a little bit. just a little bit.
For me, like I said, I call him the Godfather because he's an OG pretty much. And like I said, a lot of stuff, like, he speaks from things that the average man want. Like I said, it's not every man, whatever, but average man want a lot of these things or whatever that he's proposing, whatever. And with that said, like, us men, we definitely can level up and, you know, do a lot of things better or whatever. But as far as, like, the way he cuts people off and stuff like that, that I have an issue with, whatever.
Yeah.
But I also understand the business side of it. So he's doing what he got to do to pay the bills, and at the same time still putting, you know, dropping little gems here and there to make people do things differently. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. That's gonna do it for this episode of Matter of Opinion. I want to say thank you to Tia for being on the show and having this debate.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.
'Cause I'm addicted to the good life. It's a matter of opinion.